So I'm going to speak right now about something that I'm hurting about very deeply. And so I hope that I can gain your attention here, because this has been a long-standing crime in my life. And it's just on so many levels and so many different areas that I'm being ignored on all fronts when it comes to anything out here that's to suggest it has ability of protection or to protect me, or anything out here that's to suggest that it's a system in place that's to help you, and it's not helping me. There's nothing out here that's actually helping me when it comes down to like the things that I have going on in my life. And it's hard to talk about because it makes a person sound crazy to think that these things are possible. But please allow me to back up a second and go back to when I was a child. And I might be jumping all around because of my mind's patterns and the abuse, but going back to when I was a child, my father raped my sister at a very young age, and my brothers were older than me, and so I think that with the extenuating circumstances that I was placed in, I had an awfully hard time with that very thing growing up, and none of these men wanted to talk to me about it, or if I could even have talked about it, I should say, where I was wanting to go anyway. Like, I needed to figure out what was happening in my life and why people were minimizing to deflect from me. And it's not like you can explain these things as a little child, and so you're just left feeling like you don't have the words, you don't know the words, at the time even, and then you're growing up already with that kind of speech impediment based on the things that happened. But I believe that the speech impediment was well crafted and created by a lack of accountability on these men's parts, where if these things didn't happen to me, I would have been able to surface this crime a whole lot sooner in my life and moved differently in my life. But that's exactly why I'm coming out here saying that these people needed me dead, and legitimately do need me dead now, because I haven't been able to hunker down to have a normalcy in my life, to hold down a job. Does that make sense? It's not my ability to hold down a job or my drive or my passion with what I'd want to do and pursue in life. Has nothing to do with any of those things, but everything to do with this hack and hijack and destiny swap that these people were performing in my life, specifically to silence me. Not only to silence me from speaking or to reaching for help, but it was also to silence me from just being able to speak at all or have the reasonability to find the truth. And that's the biggest part that makes it covert warfare in this spiritual campaign against me, or the spiritual warfare that's been stacked up at large against me. And I believe it has ties all throughout the system in these systemic crimes that I'm speaking on. And it's hard to talk about because it's these powers, and as they are, they're able to stifle the victim's voice. They're able to stifle my voice to the fact that I have almost died in innumerable areas covertly by these people. And then by them all neglecting, deflecting, having no accountability, not even being able to have this baseline conversation with me. Prior to me coming out here, I gave them ample opportunity to make right with me, but they weren't ever going to be trying to make right with me. And the reason I feel that is because their own consciences, their own actions taken against me were cut and dry, that they needed this to happen. And it's to save faces from a lot of people. So as a lone wolf fighting this battle, as you would say, and I shouldn't say completely alone all the time, but these people, the ones that are working in the evil and playing up two roles and two faces and being double-minded with how they are with me, they know who they are, they know what they've been doing, and obvious they're going to try and continuously deflect from the reasons I've come out here with this stuff. But nobody's going to have to move in certain ways of like not trusting their partner, their friend, having questions about the characters and the contents of a relationship, be it within familial ties, based on the things that have been happening. And someone that's going to care about you isn't going to put you up in a place, so you can save money to get into a place specifically for a reason to move this way, unless there's other reasons, because they didn't need to pull me off their credit while I was telling them that, oh, great timing because I have all this stuff going on. Like, legitimately, maybe I'd need like another 6 months or something like that. Like, you guys can't. Nope, we're done. It's already off. Like, we already did it. Oh, okay. Nice, okay. Breadcrumb. And then to the identity theft. And then the hacking that I'd already experienced prior to that, being a targeted individual, knowing it's covert, and like feeling like it's coming from all extenuating circumstances from the government and these systemic crimes, because lo and behold, if you ask me, these parasites and the sorcery and the things that are causing people to be sick are exactly what they want, so that you go in for the medication, and then these people don't really determine environmental situations that are causing these issues. They're everything's separated, where nothing in the body is separated. So if you're not going after the whole body health, because by the time a person's going in there, it's not just the one specific thing. And especially being a targeted individual in this fashion, it's like, I don't know what I'm going in there for. And I wish that I had the reason skills to think the way that I would naturally be able to think without being poisoned. And that's like a breadcrumb in my life, in my mind, in my body, and in who I am, and how I take about my life and my work, and everything. It's proven to me by just my inabilities to speak at times, to my trying to speak and trying to get to things, to having my life go kaboom. And then, I'm homeless and I'm fighting this and that, and then I find out that Heinrich was the guy that was the last kidnapper, at least, that tried to kidnap me. One of the 3 times, the last of the 3 times that I was almost kidnapped as a kid. And so I know that these things extend all throughout the course of our history, and I have never gotten to live my organic life at all. And that's why I'm out here asking for people's help. And I deserve charity, but I've been studying charity for a long time. And with what I've found out through Freemasonry and occultists, they're legitimately like BlackRock, stealing people's houses pennies to the dollar after decimating them. It's the same thing. They're decimating the character of what is true and genuine love, and they're the goal of Freemasonry is to work in deception. It's an oath that they take to legitimately work in the satanic way out here. And so they can spin it, and they work to like make sure that they look good and they can smile in people's faces and stuff and gather people's trust. But in the backdrops of that trust, there's really evil, sinister things going on, such as, you know, them able to convert and cover up this whole thing with my dad and my brothers and all throughout my life, keeping me poisoned, not knowing how to get out of a battle that I didn't really understand, and growing up, you know, and then having just to surface my own abilities of mind and mental and self-control has been like a prison inside of my body. It's like legitimately been a prison inside of my body, because these things that these people do legitimately make you want to, you know, take it to levels deep, I guess. And it's to insinuate that violence in you, you know, so that many people can come and attack you, and they can say that you're the problem, and they can make everything that you're doing the problem, when it's not you. It's not me. It's these people that have been poisoning me. It's the people that are getting away with really fucking sick crimes that they need their faces in savings accounts. You see what I mean? They need to save their face, because if they're not able to save their faces in this crime, they all go down. Every last one of them should go down for their crimes against me at large, because so many hearts have been hurt by the ways that these people took upon their affairs with me, and just wiping me all out of fucking campus in my mind. You're not going to tell me that you're going to deal well with, you know, in a 9-year relationship, being psychologically tormented there at the end by this man in the backdrops of my life, as if that was his only goal. But it's not. It's just the fact that he's being paid to do this. I mean, not her, but the last girlfriend. I mean, she's got a kid that's got a car, going to law school. I mean, all paid for. All of the seedlings of every single fucking thing that these people have in place is all to save their face. And I'm not saying that she's wrong for going to school. I commend her for going to school. But if you're not going to study natural law, and you're just going to study like this world's law in the way that the Black's Law Dictionary is like twisting all of the words as we know it in order to basically continue this stealing of people's hearts and souls and minds from what they would otherwise be doing in life. I think it's an important factor to bring about in life, because if people like me can just get stuffed into a fucking box, stuffed in my body, stuffed in my mind, no organic life at all, while someone has, you know, I don't know, and I can't even eat, I can't even pay my bills, and I'm struggling to continue work. I'm struggling to continue work because of the things that they're just purposefully deflecting on when I go into the doctors, and I can hear it, because there are people that can see the stuff. But immediately after that, I'm put on this fast track. They get rid of me. They're acting like there's nothing more to see here. Just move along. Just move them along as fast as can be. But there's more going on. I'll pull over again. I'm I'm trying to come out here and suggest that I'm struggling. I deserve a little bit of help and a little bit of respect in this, being that it's been such a long-standing crime in my life, and I haven't been able to always see it. Now that I can see it and name it, and see all the players for who they are. I mean, it's just immediately after I do anything. It could be McDonald's or working at iPod tech support. Any job I've ever had, too, that's just another thing. And, I'd say a good portion of all of the jobs I've had have been either stealing money from me or people in the background stealing up away my time and agility, sense of self, to be able to know what's going on in that fashion of being poisoned up, being controlled, so that they can take away my jobs, leave me with absolutely no time for exercise, diet, concentrating on my actual physical health, which is tied to your mental health. Like I said, they want to separate all of these things, but they're all tied together. If you don't have your physical health, you're not going to have your mental health. And if they're able to strip you of your physical health by what they do, to then push you off and make it to where all of these physical things that are being placed on the back burner because you're never able to actually get to the doctor, and these doctors, mind you, don't do anything for you, like I said. I think they're able to see inside my chest and see the fact that these things are real that I'm saying. And they need to deflect from it because they somewhere know that there's a lot of fucking people that would be going to jail over a little old me. And so what's easier? All of these people going to jail when they all have families, they all have, all these hunky-dory little punk to do lives that they can trump up and say and act like they have more reason to live than I do. But it's people like me that get wiped out of skull to the point where if I wasn't throwing away my coffee and not trusting them here and there, I would have died that day. And they would have gotten away with this identity theft 100%. And no one would have ever known a fucking thing about it because I wouldn't have been able to even speak it. And I knew at that point, prior in the relationship, that I needed to move differently in order to prevent them from getting away with furthering this covert warfare against me, because I was coming to terms with it and realizing that it was these people that were doing it to me. And then it just got larger from there because I didn't even have my own brothers to go to about murder. These two people in my life, the ones closest to me at the time in my life, trying to sacrifice me for their own affairs and for what especially that motherfucking Jesse was doing to me. It's a surprise that motherfucker can even wake up in the morning, do anything at all, knowing how fucking decrepit his fucking black fucking heart is. And so I don't care what anyone says out here, because in situations like this, it's the absolute truth. All that ends well can end well. But something like this, there's nothing that can end well in this. And everyone's hearts are in disarray. And if they're not, then where's your heart? Where is your actual heart? Because nobody who's anybody should have to fight these systemic crimes to the levels deep of not being able to eat, not being able to afford bills. You just get pushed off into places, homeless, wiped out of campus, out of your fucking mind. You don't know what's going on. All you know is that something is happening to you, and you're out to define it. And it's gang stalking, it's targeted individual type stuff, and it extends and bleeds from these monsters in your life trying to get away with seeding your life exactly how they want it to go for their own detriment to create over you, so that they can work up this identity theft. They have everything they need. I don't make the record in court. The stenographer even says I've never seen anything like this in the 15 years of my life. How am I supposed to fight that, though? That's what I asked. How am I supposed to fight that? They've already decimated me. I mean, put it into perspective. This stuff has been long standing. And that was just me trying to be able to fight, to be able to see my kid. And so when these statesmen can keep fathers away from their abilities, agility, mind and sense of self, the true masculine femininity of a man's character is under attack when it comes to true familial ties and having true family. And it's trying to replace that and restrict that for its own power and mental warfare games that it can play, so that these sick freaks can get away with their pedophilia, keeping their shit show fucking underneath the fucking radar and pushed off as if it doesn't fucking matter, when it does fucking matter. This is my fucking life. I'm still dealing with the heart stuff that these doctors can deflect from. And I think it goes as far deep for me to see that these Freemasons are working in these occultists' design completely to strip people like me of their abilities to raise up this mission, because, okay, well, that's just another part that they know from the hacking and hijacking my life. I would be getting a hold of every single charity out here to make them prove to the dollar that they're doing and putting their money where their mouths are, and they're not putting their money into offshore accounts, and they're not putting their money into these NGOs and operations to perform in operations over targets in this fashion to silence the target so that they never get a voice. They get stuffed into early graves, and no one needs to know anything, while they get to consistently get away with real high and sick fucking crimes. And you're not gonna fucking tell me that it's any different, because that's exactly what they're saving their face from. It's exactly why they need me dead, and it's exactly why Heartworks charity would scare all of the fake charities as Freemasonries and such, because to the light of day, nobody who is anybody would want to actually side with these freaks for them to get away with what they have done, just to me, just to my sister, not to mention all the other people that they're getting away with doing these things to, and literally breeding for that reason. These people are sick occultists in their design out here, and as long as they can get away with that and not call it warfare, I'm sorry, but in the thick of the time that we live in, either things have to happen for the benefit of the victim now moving forward, or there is going to be a monstrous event, I believe, taking place in the world, because I am not going to tolerate being wiped out of campus for my whole life and never being able to understand or reason through why people are moving about and treating me the way they are, just specifically so that they can get paid to work up in covert warfare and this criminal matter. They want to take it there, but they can't even have that semblance of a conversation, or highly have in the past allowed for my conversations or allowed for my content to simply exist. My 24 years of Facebook was taken from me. My phone number right after that, my accounts, my phone, just everything you can think of. That these people have power to assert this crime, they have power to assert the crime that they're doing. So I'm asking for help. I don't want to die. But moreover than that, I would really like to progress my life to being able to exercise, work on myself better, work on myself, quit smoking. I'm working really hard and trying to. Stress is just phenomenal. I think that I would have already gotten rid of these and been doing that without all of these covert attacks. Hell, I'd probably be pushing a mill up to the machine and hooking a mill up to run different size and lengths and of rolls of paper. Still, I'd probably be doing something else, is what I'm saying, other than fighting a war that people aren't capable of seeing, I guess. And so I'm trying to bring it to the light of day to where people can understand it, because you guys, this is just so fucking hard. I'm having a really fucking hard day. Just looking at people and feeling everyone have that smirk about them or whatever when they are around me, that signals to me no one gets it. No one can just come up and be around me and try to think to themselves that what they are feeling or whatever isn't just from me personally, but through what's happened to me and or whatever. I don't want to get. I'm trying to get at something that's very personal to me, I guess, and I'm just having a hard time just trying to word it to where I don't know. I guess I'm shy, so whatever. I just deserve better than this shit in my life. And I'm speaking out about it because I deserve to. And that's it. It's like just like any other job. I start coming out here immediately after I come out here, and all these people have deflected, moved away, minimized the whole situation, and acting like it's all mental health and shit. They need it to be mental health. They need it to be. Because otherwise, I don't know how many players there are, but 200 motherfuckers are gonna go to jail. I don't know. Shit, it could be fucking more than that. I don't know, dude. All I know is that if I was to tie in the pieces together from the people that have done this to me, to all of the paperbacks, the money or whatever, paper money, the fictional pumped up, here you are. I don't know. It's just such a fucking game at how they get away with this crime of people's lives. And I would be living a whole different way. I miss who I was as far as being bright and just living my life in spontaneity because I felt I could. I didn't realize that I couldn't for a long time, but it was 10 years ago I decided to stop thinking that I could continue living that way. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, I couldn't continue living that way if I wanted to figure this stuff out and get out of this crime or get out of this covert warfare. I needed to get serious. So it wiped away the fun in my life, and I was in a resolve for what is going on in my life. I'm going to resolve to try and resolve this crime, resolve this time, energy, and essence that's constantly being ripped away from me. My money, my data, just you name it, is just being stripped from me with absolute intention to strip it from me. And the whole world is in this moral decline regarding what I'm coming out here saying and talking about, but I don't know where else to go with it, you guys, because if it wasn't for these crimes, like I said, I'd be living a different life. And so I'm always trying to get back to who I feel I would be. Always. Every single year of my life. Not every year of my life, but trying to get back, trying to not only figure this stuff out, but at the same time hone in on who you are and where you want to move in life. And now, especially regarding these things, because you haven't been able to do plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, you name it. You haven't been able to do these plans, and you're on plan Z. I'm on my on my last idea as far as for these things not happening, I would have already had a website. I would have already probably had a funneling system that I could have channeled to get better and better, to be a part of a collective that I'm after here for a charitable mission. I'm after people to collaborate with me as how to smash the competition, because obviously these people aren't working in charity. If they did, and they have enough money to stop poverty by two of them, two people, and it wouldn't even hurt their pocketbooks at all. They'd be able to eat fine, feed their families, and do everything that they could even continue to think that they could run their depopulation agenda or whatever. But I guess it goes against their depopulation agenda. There it is. The agendas in and of itself are fucking evil, and these people are all pumped up kicks with their fucking pumped up fake money and their pumped up fake love and fake this and fake that, and you can call it all you want as if it's fucking good out here. It ain't good for me, and I'm not gonna be okay with just going off into the silences of the night after the way these men have treated me in my life. And if they can get away with this crime, then I don't know, man. Would you even consider that suicide? I'm not saying that I'm going to commit suicide. I'm actually saying I'm never going to commit suicide, specifically for the reasons that these people need to suicide me. But furthermore, I'm saying that in a person that's in that position that doesn't know these things. It's not, they're in the phrase and they didn't figure it out, and they're still poisoned up. They don't even know, right? That person goes and doesn't know what the fuck they're even crying about. And they take and turn the gun on themselves and kill themselves. Would you call that suicide? Because in my mind, that is fucking cold-blooded murder. That all these people made that person into to turn the gun on themselves. And that's how this demonology works. It's exactly how the demons work. Get you to do the job for them. You see? It's evil out here. That's all I can say. But, my dad can't. My dad's a complete fuck off. My brother's moving about in a way of covertly, protecting them, playing up two faces with me to move about this way. Working in the backdrops with my friends, the ties that I have. Anyone that's actually there to would be by my side is dead. And anyone else has been targeted or bought or whatever, just been through a physically demanding, mentally constraining time and doesn't know whether or not they're telling the truth or I'm telling the truth. And they probably think I don't want anything to do with any of this anymore, and fuck my life for ever having tried. Because I think the person, I'm not going to say their name, but I think they know what I'm talking about, but it's just the same thing. It's the same fucking thing, dude. I haven't even been able to fucking utilize all of my senses the way I would have loved to utilize all of my senses in life because of how these people moved in my life. And you want to fucking tell me that these motherfuckers can move about this kind of crime and just simply get away with it? Fuck off. This whole world can fuck off if that's what it thinks. Blame me for the fucking hearse life that they fucking led me into. Whatever, man. These people covertly manipulated, used every last little fucking thing that they could gain power over, access to manipulate and move about my life to get away with this identity theft. No one has to see a fucking thing. No one has to see how evil their dad is. No one has to see how evil these people are, right? Well, little old me just gets stuffed into an early grave and isn't even supposed to know a fucking thing about it. You should be so proud, bros. And men in my life, call yourself a man. Do it. Call yourself a man.